Hey everybody, welcome to the Ronline Report. Today's guest is your newest NPC National Overall Women's Bodybuilding Champion. Please welcome from the Baltimore, Maryland area, Erica Hartman. How are you, Erica?
I'm well. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. First of all, huge congratulations. That's a great title to have.
Thank you.
Great way to turn pro. It's not one of these backdoor ways to turn pro, as we say. You didn't win the Masters at the Tunisia Arnold Amateur or something like that, or Olympia Amateur. Did it at the Nationals. So we don't know much about you, so that's why we're doing this today. I want to learn more. Okay. So were you athletic before all this, or was bodybuilding and fitness your intro, or were you an athlete as a younger person too?
Always an athlete. Growing up, always an athlete. Ran track and cross country in high school. Actually ran Division I track and cross country for Towson University in Towson, Maryland. So was always athletic, always competitive. I found bodybuilding. I had my son in 2011, and I was running 5Ks and half marathons, and that was my source of fitness. And actually wound up reaching out to a pro in the Baltimore area, a bikini pro, Janet Lynn West, and I just wanted to get back in the gym. Wanted to learn how to lift and wanted to learn, losing weight and was never an issue. You could run and do cardio, but really wanted to, try something different. And I worked with Janet for over a year, and she was kind of my segue into competitive bodybuilding. I had zero intention of being a competitor or hitting the stage. And it just so happened that Janet was a trainer in my area. So one thing kind of led to another. And by 2015, I competed in my first show.
Wow. It's in bikini.
In bikini.
we got to make a point of saying that, because
in bikini.
I'm just curious. Usually when someone has the type of muscularity that you have, they always had some sort of muscularity where people would look at them and go, wow, you should try bodybuilding. Were you getting that your whole life?
Yeah, I was getting that. I only did bikini in 2015. And first of all, in order to lose muscle, nobody wants to lose muscle in bodybuilding, but to really lean down and to fit the bikini look, it was tough. It was really tough for me. And my feedback consistently when I competed in shows in bodybuilding was too lean, too hard, too muscular. I mean, it parlayed, and the feedback was always consistent. So the next step we thought was, okay, we'll try figure.
Yeah.
So by that point, I had a coach who I'm still with today. And so we prepped during an improvement season and thought, all right, we're going to hit figure. I did one show in figure, and wound up taking third in open and masters. And the feedback was the same. You look great, too big, too hard, too muscular, shoulders, back. So we were kind of like, okay, there goes our improvement season plan. What do we do now? And the next show I did, we went women's physique.
Okay. Can I ask about your body? So at your first show, bikini, I saw the Instagram, you're very emaciated looking. What was your weight for that?
I wound up on stage at about 106 pounds. And that was, almost a 12-week prep of fish and asparagus. And I mean, it was miserable. I mean, we really had to cut down. I mean, it just wasn't.
How tall are you? Can I ask?
I'm tiny. I'm 5'1".
5'1", so 5'1", 106. I mean, that's I've seen skinnier, but that's pretty damn skinny. So yeah. Did you only do bikini because, the first person you worked with was a bikini pro, and it just seemed like that'd be a cool thing to do?
I think so. I was training with Janet, and a lot of my knowledge as far as what competing was about and what that required and what a prep was came from her. So I think bikini was an easy segue to try. I certainly didn't have the knowledge or understanding of the different categories and classes and things like that. So I think that was a good stepping stone to kind of get into bodybuilding. But I certainly did not have the knowledge or experience that I have now.
I'm just curious, prior to 2014, 2015, did you have any awareness of this whole NPC IFBB world, or was this all new to you?
It was all new. When I was looking for someone to work with as a trainer, And Janet's profile came up, and she was close to where I was, and I could train with her in person. In her bio, talked about her being an IFBB pro, and she actually started in figure and won her card in figure and then transitioned to bikini. But that was all new to me. I mean, I think I remember talking when someone asked, "Oh, are you working with a trainer?"
Yeah.
And I don't even think I got the letters right. IFBB. I think I said IBFF. I had no idea.
Close enough.
Yeah.
Man. So let's get, I love these body weight progression things. So bikini 106, figure, what'd you weigh for figure? Do you recall?
I was about 112, 113.
Okay. Still a little underfed.
Mm-hmm.
And women's physique, I tried to research the shows. The only one I could find was Team U. You did Team U in 2018 in women's physique.
Yeah, I did Team U, Masters Nationals, and I also did North Americans in 2017 and wound up in third in Masters. So just missed my card by one. I was about, I'd say 122 pounds, 123 pounds.
Okay.
So
I'm going to ask the last question. What'd you weigh at Nationals?
Let me tell you the story about this. So
Absolutely.
I made middleweight, which is 125. Flying down to Nationals, I was about 133. So we were my coach is Ryan Blakely with Skulls and Barbells.
Okay.
We had some conversations about, are we going to, try to make middleweight? Or are we going to go in light heavy?
Yeah.
And my thought was, and Ryan was in agreement, was I really wanted to try to make middleweight and be at the top of the weight cutoff at middleweight, rather than go into light heavy. And I would have been at the bottom of that. And I thought if we could make weight at middleweight, we would have a really good chance. We'd have a good look.
Yeah.
So I flew in Wednesday, check-in and weigh-in was on Thursday. So, in between flying in and in between making weight, there was a little bit of suffering going on.
Yeah. I mean, were you in like a sauna for 2 or 3 hours a day? Yeah.
I was. We did, it was pretty intense. We hit some cardio, we did sauna suit. It was not fun.
Wow. Because I mean, in retrospect, you won the overall, which means you would have beat everybody there anyway, regardless of what class.
Right.
As long as you're in shape, which I'm sure from the pictures you were in shape, it was pretty much water that you lost to get down that middleweight division.
Yep.
So had you been a light heavy, you still would have won that, still would have won the overall.
Right.
So, I don't want to say what a waste of all that suffering in the sauna, but I mean, you did what you had to do. But it's, in my opinion, and no disrespect to the other competitors, you would have beat everybody anyway, regardless of where you ended up.
Thank you.
I want to touch on one irony about this, about the categories. Bikini is the easiest look to achieve. I don't think anyone's going to debate me on that. Because I could go to the beach, you could go to the beach, you could go to a pool party. You're going to see a few women that look like they could do well in a bikini show.
Sure, absolutely.
They may or may not have ever even seen a gym in their lives.
Right.
Maybe they have. I don't want to. I know these bikini women train. I don't want them to get mad at me.
Sure.
I support all the divisions. It's just not. It's the least trained look. You have to have the least amount of muscle relative to all the other divisions, and they're not. And as far as body fat, they don't have to get as lean.
Right.
Female bodybuilding is the other extreme. It's the hardest look to achieve. It takes the longest to build the amount of muscle mass. You have to be the leanest. A lot more is expected of you as a female bodybuilder.
Right.
But if you look at the numbers of the shows, a bikini class will have 30, 40, sometimes 50 women in a class at a national show.
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You were the only middleweight at nationals, right?
Yeah, there was only 7 women's bodybuilders total at nationals,
and 3 turn pro.
3 turn pro.
Yeah.
But there was only 7 of us, and they put middleweight and light heavy out on stage together during prejudge.
So you weren't all alone out there.
Yeah, there just wasn't a lot of us, and I competed earlier in October in Baltimore. I needed to requalify. And there was only 3 women's bodybuilders. So
I believe it was Chicago, maybe it was Tampa. I want to say it was Chicago. The Wings of Strength had a pro qualifier. It was separate from the actual pro show.
Right.
And they had 3 divisions, and one of them only had 1 woman, and she turned pro. What I'm saying is the numbers, I really hope, and I think the numbers are going to start spiking up, because a lot of women that would have been bodybuilders. It just didn't seem like an option because the Olympia was gone.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like there was any future in it. So I think a lot of them migrated to women's physique. Obviously, that'd be the easiest switch to make. Some of them even dropped down to figure.
Right.
But we'll talk. I want to talk about Jake Wood and Wings of Strength because they've really that man and that company they're really doing great things for women's bodybuilding. They brought it out of the depths.
Yeah.
Do you believe now we're going to see a big resurgence? We're going to see those numbers start to come back?
I think that's the number one question that I've gotten in the past week and a half. Number one has been, what am I going to do? Am I going to stay in bodybuilding? Which the answer is absolutely. I make no qualms about it that I need to put on a considerable amount of size as a pro. But I hope so. I hope so. I hope that we see with it going back to the Olympia and with Wings of Strength and with, just it becoming back into the mainstream. I'd love to see it make a resurgence. I mean, there's a market difference between women's physique and women's bodybuilding. And I think, some of the women's physique competitors would be fantastic bodybuilders. Yeah. And I think that, with it hitting the Olympia again, hopefully, especially on the regional level, local and regional level, we'll see a lot more. And then that'll parlay into the national level. I mean, I'd love to see big classes. I did North Americans in 2017 in women's physique, and I think there was 33 or 34 of us in Class A. Yep. So I'd love to see that in bodybuilding. I'd love to see the resurgence, especially for women. And, the thing is, too, for the old, I wouldn't call myself old, but like I mentioned, I'm 38, almost 39. Bodybuilding with muscle maturity and things like that, you don't have to be 22 or 23. You can be 30, 35, 40 and do fantastic. You can really do well in women's bodybuilding. And I think that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, do you follow the current women's bodybuilding scene?
I do. I have a lot of work to do.
Well, I mean, but it's, in terms of age, I don't think there are very few of them that are under 30.
Right.
I want to say all the best female bodybuilders right now in the IFBB Pro League are between 35 and 45 years old.
That's true. Yeah. It's 100%. It's great. It's fantastic.
Whereas, bikini, you could probably take 20 years off that. Maybe not 20, but you know what I'm saying? That's more of a younger woman's. But like you said, bodybuilding, it takes years to build the muscle. Yep. Then it takes more years to really refine and get the quality and the detail.
Yeah.
So, you're just at 38, you're just really starting out as far as the potential, you're here as far as where you're going to be eventually. Yeah. But, do you feel lucky that you turned pro now and not maybe 5 years ago when women's bodybuilding was, I want to say like 5 years ago, there was only 4 or 5 pro shows a year for women's bodybuilders. Yeah. That was it.
Yeah. I think timing is everything. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. I think what better time to turn pro than now? I mean, 2020, it's going to hit the Olympia and all eyes are going to be on them. Yeah. So I think it's great. No better time. Actually, it's perfect. So,
are there any women bodybuilders right now that, I don't want to say you're not like idolizing or anything, but what looks do you really, who has a good look that you aspire to or that you think represents women's bodybuilding really well right now?
I'm a big fan, and I don't want to butcher her last name, but I'm a big fan of Teresa Ivanovic. Ivanovic, I think it is. She looks great. She's beautiful. She's feminine. She has great shape. She has great size. And if I'm remembering correctly, she also got her pro card at nationals. Okay. She just looks great. And I think that's what's important. I think especially for women's bodybuilding, it kind of gets this bad kind of rap or, oh, they don't look good or, oh, they're not feminine or, oh, they're not attractive. Yeah. I think that's out the window. I just don't think any of that is accurate anymore. So,
well, even if it was, I mean, here's the argument. I've talked to talked to a lot of women about this. Why should that matter? Because let's face it, some of the top men open bodybuilders, they're not Brad Pitt. They're not Adonis. Facially, they're not good looking guys. Let's be blunt. But for some reason, if a woman's unattractive, people are down on her, like, you're athletes and you're supposed to be judging the physique. I could see a division like bikini, absolutely facial beauty has to be considered because, the bodies are very, very similar in bikini. They all look great, but they all look like they rolled off an assembly line as far as I could never judge it. should, should beauty and femininity even matter for women's bodybuilding? Because,
You know,
like I said, for the men, no one's saying, oh, he's not that good looking.
you know what? Here's the thing, and I'll play devil's advocate with you.
Yeah.
On one hand, like you said, should it matter? Should we consider that? Should that be important? But on the other hand, I think anytime you step on stage, whether you're a bikini competitor or you're a women's bodybuilder, I think the judges probably are looking at total package. We're female. So they are looking at, some of the feedback I've gotten as an amateur has been on my hair or my makeup or things like that. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. Should beauty or should looks factor in? Probably not. I mean, we're being judged on our physique. Does it factor in? Probably. And I think you just have to take that with a grain of salt. And that every time you step on stage as a competitor, if you have a fantastic physique and so does the girl next to you, and it's hard to judge, what are they going to go with? Are they, oh, well, I like her hair compared to her hair. So should it be? Probably not. Is it? Probably.
That's a very realistic answer. And your hair is pretty cool, I got to say.
Thank you.
You're welcome. So Erica, you have 2 children. You told me your daughter is 10, your son is 8.
Yeah.
Obviously, and then you told me you're not a stay-at-home mom. You're not, you're not kicking back all day. You actually own a business, a staffing company, which I don't know what the hell that is. Can you explain what it is your company does? And you told me this is a very busy time for you, so thanks for doing the interview.
It is. No problem. Flex Force Staffing, temporary staffing. So, some of the big name distributors or companies that holiday season, Black Friday are busy for them, they may go from 250 employees to 500 employees to get their product out. We come in and do all of the hiring, pre-screening, drug screening, background check, all that kind of stuff, and provide employees. So it's temporary staffing.
Okay. So now I got to ask, especially during prep, what was a typical day like for you? Because, geez, 2 kids, the company, you got cardio, you got training. So without getting into total detail, but what was a typical day like for you from waking up to going to sleep?
So it would be a 5 a.m. wake up, handle, getting the kids to school. I prefer to train in the morning. I felt like I could get that out of the way. I was more focused. I could handle what I needed to handle. So it would be 5 a.m. wake up, kids at school, train. My cardio was split in between post-workout and then again in the evening. So would train, cardio, go right to work all day, pick the kids up from school, all the mom stuff in the evening, and then I would hit cardio again after the kids were in bed.
Wow. So how many hours of sleep were you getting there?
I would try to get into bed by like 9:30 or 10 if it worked out that way.
Oh, okay.
So not terrible.
Okay. And your husband is a police officer?
He is. He's a lieutenant with a local department.
So, you've been with him through this whole journey. I'm sure he's been very supportive. I think I saw him in a couple of the interviews pop in and everything, but what's it been like for him going through watching you change and morph into this, muscular goddess that people are raving over now?
You know what? He's anybody that knows my husband will say that he's a great guy. And I joke and I tell anybody that, knows bodybuilding that he's a great show day husband. He's in the crowd, nervous. He's watched enough shows, he's sat through, and, he likes to think that he can pick who's going to be in first call outs. But, he's great. And anytime I've gone to him and said, look, I'm thinking about doing figure, or I'm thinking about doing women's physique, or, I'm going to go into bodybuilding. Those are conversations that I've run by him first. What do you think? Are you okay with it? And he's always just said, I don't care what class or what division you're in, just be the best you can be. Let's do it. And he's supportive. I don't think they're as excited as I was and my coach was when I knew I won my card and won the overall. I don't think there was anybody more excited than my husband in that crowd.
Right on. So I expect to meet him at your first pro show.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, and he's well aware you're gonna put on, I'm gonna guess, anywhere from 10 to 15 pounds of muscle before you get on the pro stage to be competitive. You have shape and everything. Do you feel like you just need overall mass, or there's certain areas you're going to work harder on?
I think I definitely need overall mass. And then I definitely would like to bring up my back, my lats, add more width and some good size back there. And that's conversations I've had with my coach already, and where we are and what we're thinking, and what we have to do to achieve that. So
Yeah, you brought up a phrase that I think is catching on. That's improvement season, because I'm starting to hear that more and more, and I
yeah,
like it because off season sounds like you're kicking back, you're not really doing anything,
right,
which is the
right,
opposite. If you're trying to become a better bodybuilder or whatever division, you're working your ass off in the off season.
yeah,
So improvement season, and you
yeah.
took this was a very long one. What you
It
told
was,
one of the interviewers, it was almost a year and a
yeah,
half.
it was a
Wow.
long time. So the last time I had stepped on stage was Masters Nationals. So I think that was July of
2018. Yeah.
2018. And then I just got on stage at Nationals. And I had been close a couple times, North Americans, first call outs at Masters, wound up in sixth. So
Yeah.
I jokingly said that I was always a bridesmaid, never a bride. I was close. I was right there. And I said to Ryan, I said, I would rather take the time to improve, take the time to work on things that I know from looking at photos that we need to work on, than hurry up and rush and go to junior USAs or do something like that. Let's work on what I need to work on. So the next time we hit the stage, I mean, it's lights out. So I think it's important, this is a sport of longevity, and it takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, and that was just something we looked at and we talked about. So
Because it was, I want to say it was Hani Rambod, because I want to quote the right person. He said sometimes the hardest thing to do is to not compete,
yeah,
especially if you're a competitor and you love prep and you love competing. It can be really hard to go more than a year without competing.
yeah,
Were there
yeah,
times toward the end of this improvement season where you were just antsy, couldn't
yeah.
wait?
I got pretty heavy too. I mean, I I said to Ryan, I said either we're gonna start prep, or I'm gonna have to buy a new wardrobe, because I mean I was up to about 156 pounds at
Wow.
5'1". I mean,
Wow.
so it was sweatpants and hoodies, and that's a lot.
Yeah.
And the other thing was too, is as the year went on, I watched a lot of competitor friends that I have turn pro. So it was kind of like, you watch
Mm,
two people, three people, five people all turn pro, and you get that itch, and you
mm.
start thinking, all right, I'm ready. I'm ready. And I'll give credit to my coach. He would remind me of, all right, pump the brakes. Let's remember what our plan is. So it does. It gets hard. If you love the sport and you're a natural competitor and you like that feeling, and you like, the structure and the rigidness of prep,
Yeah.
you do kind of get antsy. So
Yeah. So what did through that whole time, did you have this show, the Nationals, in mind, or were you just thinking when my coach and me both feel I look ready as far as improvements, that's when I start prepping?
we had always picked that show. We knew that's the show we were going to hit, and it lined up with knowing that I needed to requalify Baltimore, which I'm from Baltimore. And Rich Siegelman puts on a great show. It was actually a pro-am. So there was the pro show and the MPC show. It lined up well with nationals. So that was always our plan.
All right, before we talk, you're from Baltimore, and you said you do train at Exile Fitness once in a while.
Every
So
once in a while, I get down that way.
how many Leveroni sightings have you had?
Two.
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 Okay.
Listen, I will tell you that Exile has increased in popularity. So, I was at Exile in 2017, and it's a bodybuilder's gym. They
Mhm.
have equipment in there that you're kind of like, I've never seen that before.
Yeah.
But it's gotten a lot more popular. So, some days it can be pretty crowded.
Yeah. Kevin claims there's tons of like massive power lifters there, like tons of 300-pound guys benching 500, 600, 700. It's like, it sounds like Land of the Giants, the way he
There's
described it.
there's a
Yeah.
lot going on when you walk into Exile, and it's definitely not like an LA Fitness. When you walk in, that you're in a bodybuilder, power lifter, competitor's gym. I mean, it's old school.
Yeah. Here's a question. Because men, when they're muscular, they don't get a ton of attention unless they're like, Ronnie Coleman size.
Sure.
But a woman with the kind of muscularity you have, it's very rare. There's not many women in the world, if you think about it, that look like you.
Mhm.
Do you get a ton of attention when you go out, or you always try to cover up? What describe
Um,
that for me?
no, I do. It's interesting. It comes in different forms. So, some days, like I said, I have kids. So I show up to school pickup still in my gym clothes. So, whether it's tank top and leggings. So you definitely get comments from people who know nothing about bodybuilding, know nothing about the sport. They just think I'm really in shape. Yeah. And then you have people that know bodybuilding and competitors and I get a lot, oh, are you women's physique? Or, oh, what do you do? Are you a pro? And surprisingly, the feedback I've gotten has been great. I get good feedback. I haven't gotten a ton of negative comments or things like that. And if I do, it comes online. It comes from Instagram, Facebook, usually from profiles that don't have pictures.
I mean, so do you see some like chubby moms like whispering to each other and pointing at you, or
sometimes I know they talk. My kids come home and my kids will say, social media is everywhere. So my son, he's 8. After I won in nationals, he came home and he said, "Mom, a little girl in his class, her mom showed her your picture and she said you have lines in your muscles." So even my kids get it. Yeah. They're aware of it and they know. But overall, the feedback has been great. And honestly, I get a lot of questions too from other moms that say, "How do I get started?" Or, "What do I do?" Or, how are you motivated to get in the gym? What can I do? So I think I love that. I think those kind of questions are great.
So what about coaching? I know you don't have a ton of time. Clearly, you don't have much spare time, but you must be getting hit up now by people that would like you to help them. Sure. Either just getting regular person who wants to get in good shape, or competitors. Yep. Are you thinking about it? Could you get into that?
I am a certified personal trainer. So I do, I can do one-on-one training, at a gym or things like that. I will tell you that I don't feel confident enough about nutrition and know enough about nutrition. And I'm very specific when people say that, you need to go with someone that is certified and knows what they're doing, especially when you're talking about diet and nutrition and losing weight and things like that. I think you stick with someone that knows what they're doing. I personally don't feel like I have enough knowledge to do that. But I always have great referrals, if someone's looking for that. I think that's really important. You're talking about your health. Yeah. So you want to go with someone that knows what they're doing.
I give you a lot of credit because I guarantee you there's a ton of people out there. They say, "Well, I'm not really qualified, but whatever. Just give me the money. Let's go. Let's do this."
No. No. Cool. It's not my area of expertise. So I would rather point you in the right direction.
Gotcha. Do you have a timeline in mind as for when you might want to start competing as a pro, or are you playing it by ear?
I think we're thinking 2021. So we'll take all of 2020 to really build and really put on size. I would rather take my time and build a pro physique than hurry up and rush to the stage. So we are kicking around, definitely maybe a Wings of Strength show in 2021.
Yep. So. Yeah. They're all great shows. Have you been to some of their shows yet, or any of them?
We have not. We were actually talking about it. I was actually talking to Ryan about 2020, just going to a show and seeing it in person and checking it out and seeing what it's like.
Yeah, because just I'm sure but the Tim Gardner shows, they all feature female bodybuilding. Yeah. It's in conjunction with Wings of Strength, and yeah. I mean, they're doing such amazing things because
they really are. It's awesome.
I started out with following the sport back in the 87, 88. 19 this is the last century, and that's all we had was bodybuilding, men's bodybuilding, women's bodybuilding. Yeah. So women's bodybuilding those were our, we looked up to all these women. They were on the covers of magazines. Everybody knew who the top women bodybuilders were. They had supplement contracts. They had training articles in the magazines, and we could be seeing that era come back. I'd love to see.
How awesome would that be? Right, that would be fantastic.
For people of my generation, it would be such a welcome thing to see that happen, because it's nothing against the other divisions, but female bodybuilding is just like men's bodybuilding. I respect all the men's divisions, but you guys all came from men's bodybuilding. You need to know that. Right. We were the pioneers, men and women's bodybuilding. We started all this, and you guys were all kind of many years after is when you guys came along.
And that's what I talked about in one of the interviews from nationals, was this is really kind of the renaissance of women's bodybuilding and a resurgence. And I love anything that's old school, from the velvet suits to the, I love that the pre-judging suits are plain and then you put on the sparkle suit for night. but even, the fabric, whether it's, the velvet and the plain color, I love that. I just think it's awesome. I think it pays homage to, like you said, to where it came from. And now that it's making a resurgence, I just think it's so cool.
I thought you were going to say fanny packs and Team
Yeah,
Michael top.
I don't know. I don't know about that, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's wishful thinking.
Yeah.
Erica, I know this is an individual sport, but there were probably some very important people that were on your team
Yeah.
that supported you and helped you along the way to get to where you are right now. Who would you like to thank out there?
A couple. Definitely my coach, Ryan Blakely, Skulls and Barbells. He's on Instagram at skullsandbarbells.com. I've been with Ryan since 2015. So he's coached me through bikini, figure, women's physique, bodybuilding.
Wow.
I do have a sponsor for my suits. That's Rebecca from BB Custom Suits. She does a fantastic job. And then I also have a sponsor for my tanning and makeup, and that's Michelle Walters with Island Glow. Fantastic.
Right on.
Yeah.
The husband and the kids, they were probably there for you too.
Yeah. My kids are funny. They say, they ask me, they can kind of tell the difference. They'll say, are you on your show diet or your improvement diet? So when they know if they want to ask for pizza for dinner, are you on your show diet or your improvement diet, Mom? So.
Yeah. Now, are these regular kids that eat like, chicken nuggets and pizza, all the mac and cheese, or do you have them eating chicken breasts and broccoli?
You know what? They do a little bit of both. My kids will eat grilled chicken and they'll eat rice, but they're kids. So they love, pizza and corn dogs and all that kind of crap. But, I hopefully they watch my example and they are pretty healthy eaters. So.
I can tell you, my wife and I both competed. Our kids didn't care. They still ate all the crap.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And I tell you what, there's nothing like being a parent in prep and having to pack lunches and you're making peanut butter and jelly and chips and all the good stuff. And yeah.
Oh, forget about that. What about you've got to know about all the Chuck E. Cheese and all the birthday parties on the weekends.
Oh my God. Cake, cookies, cupcakes.
Pizza.
And you're eating out of Tupperware.
You're that weirdo mom in the corner eating out of her Tupperware. That's cool.
Yeah.
Okay. And I want to give out your social media. It is Mrs. MRS 2851. Mrs. 2851. And your Facebook for now is just your name, Erica Hartman.
That's it. Simple, Erica Hartman.
Didn't change it to IFBB Pro yet?
Not yet. I'm still catching up on things.
You know how long it takes the average person to do that when they turn pro?
No, how long?
4 minutes. 4 minutes, 10 seconds.
No, I'm still catching up on life.
I've done that. I've actually watched someone's Instagram, like they just won. 5 minutes later, the name has changed on it. I go, good for you, dude. I know you've been working for that for a while.
Yeah.
So, Erica, congratulations. Excellent title.
Thank you.
Great future in the sport. You're just starting out. We're just seeing the glimmer of your full potential now. Very interested to see what you've got in store for us in the future, you and your coach. Unfortunately, we're going to have to wait a while, but you know what? These things. Rome wasn't built in a day, and neither was a great physique. That's true. I applaud your patience ahead of time. It's not easy.
I appreciate you taking the time to talk to me today.
Well, thank you. I know this is especially if you have anything to do with companies like Amazon. This is your crunch time right now.
This is big time for us. But I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
We're doing this on Cyber Monday, for goodness sake.
I know.
Imagine that. What Amazon's going to be like the rest of this week.
I know. Big day for them.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you guys all out there for watching this. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Hit the little bell thing so you know. And this has been Ronline Report with your newest national champion, Erica Hartman. Thanks for watching.
All right. Thank you.